Down to 2, and of course one of our favourite places to escape to, I'm speaking as Western Australians in general, is to our very nearly just to the north neighbour, Bali in Indonesia. And it's time this morning. We're going to find out. Well, we know they can go surfing. All the surfers know all about that. The ladies know, well, in fact, the guys like to shop over there as well because prices are good. But there's also lots of family activities. Now, I've got a 3-year-old son these days, and of course, I'm going to keep going to Bali. So I need to know, what can a family do to justify a holiday over there? To tell us all about what family fun and mischief you can get up to in Bali, we're joined now with a big wake-up WA selamat pagi to Miss Annie Payne. Good morning, Annie.
Good morning and selamat pagi to both of you.
Pagi. Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
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 Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I write that down.
Yes, actually, yes, you were going to Bali in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you'd have to learn to say terap makasih.
Yes.
Terap makasih.
Yeah, terap makasih means thank you.
Oh,
Terima
terima
kasih.
kasih.
Yes.
Not terap makasih.
That's a good way to remember it. And selling up his and tidak mau. That's an important
Well,
one
there
as
you
well.
are. All these little phrases.
Showing off.
You'll be word perfect when you go.
You said that it's very similar to Italian, so maybe another day we can go
Just
into
break
the
down
language.
the little segments of each word.
A fantastically structured language, very, very simple, and the same words
Yes.
always mean the same thing, unlike
Exactly.
our weird language, English. Bow, bow, and yeah,
But
anyway.
the Balinese go to a lot of trouble to learn our language, which I think is very sweet of them.
And then they find great amusement and pleasure in us butchering theirs as well.
Oh, yes, yes, and they smile so sweetly at you while you murder their language.
When I was about 15, I had this little 6-year-old kid just shaking his head, looking at me and saying, "You've not learned very long, mister." You don't know very much at all. But then, I love going to Bali for surfing, and I go and escape and jump on a motorbike and head through the jungles for a couple weeks at a time, quite happily. But there's lots of family fun to be had on the island as well.
Bali's a great destination for families, mainly I think because the Balinese believe that children are closer to God, their God, and the smaller they are, the very much more close they are to God. They take a community view of children. So if you take your children up, they will look after your children as part of their community. So it's delightful to take them in. You see in your hotel, you'll see staff wandering off with a small child with a crust of bread to feed the fish in the ponds in the hotel. They're very happy to take your fretful baby off while you have your breakfast, etc. Just have this wonderful view towards children. But it's not just the people. There are so many things to do, and a lot of them are free.
Oh, really? So can you tell us a little bit about your favourite family activities that people can get involved in?
As well as the cultural experience of things like temples and festivals and markets and rice paddies, a whole lot of experiences that you'd never get here in Perth. There are exciting places to go. For example, the Bali Zoo. Now, I know Tony talks a lot about it, but I was there 3 weeks ago, and I have to say it's brilliant. I haven't been to a zoo for a long time, and I love this one for a range of reasons. A, it's spotlessly clean, absolutely meticulously clean. It's built in an old established garden. The animals, there's a wide variety of animals, and you can get up close and personal. So you can pet iguanas or nurse a baby lion, as I did. Yes.
A baby lion?
A 4-week-old baby lion.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
cool.
I put him in my arms and he was growly and snarly, and I rubbed his little chest, and I swear that he purred because his little chest started to rumble and he quietened down. Quite amazing. I mean, I never thought I'd nurse a lion, but you can at Bali Zoo.
Unreal. And of course, there's the more sort of traditional style commercialised attractions as well.
Exactly. What about good old Waterboom Park? It's been going for 30 years, and it's the most amazing water-focused fun park. There are slides, there are rides, there's a myriad of different pools to suit tiny tots to teenagers to adults. Not only that, but they've got their very own children's spa. Having a spa in Bali is one of those experiences that you mustn't miss, but even the kids can get into it. They've got machines that press little pictures onto fingernails. They'll do you an airbrushed tattoo. Kids can even have foot massages while they sit there and play with Game Boys. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go there and spend your whole day?
Now, this sounds something that's...
The kids won't want to go and see.
No.
Like, temple? What temple? I'm on slides.
Temple,
I want to have my feet done again.
Exactly. So that's good then for the older children, obviously not the little tots, but there's obviously...
But even for over 10s, and often that's an awkward age with kids. Sometimes they don't want to be with you and they think this activity's dumb. Who wants to see the zoo? They can go water rafting. Children over 10.
That's right, I forgot about that.
White water rafting. Mountain bike expeditions up in the jungle that end up at the Elephant Safari Park. And you ride your mountain bike for part of the day, and then for another part of the day you're sitting on the back of an elephant riding through the jungle. I mean, how wild would that be?
Have you done that? Have you been on
No,
that?
I would love to do it though.
I want to ride an elephant.
Yes.
No, they just grab them out of the bush.
27 Sumatran elephants there, and they're fantastic, I hear. I mean, there are parks. There's a park in Sanur for children under 7, and it's a very holistic park with all sorts of rides and things like that. The child must be accompanied by an adult, but health foods are provided, and it's a heap of fun for littlies. They can learn to surf.
The parachuting?
Yes,
the paragliding?
paragliding.
I was about 13,
What about
14.
the Bali slingshot? Right in the middle of Kuta, and it's like a bungee jump but reversed. I mean, if you were a 14 or 15-year-old, wouldn't you want to do that?
I reckon.
I think so.
And the funny thing about it is airfares to Bali, I mean, because like, people would turn around and say, oh, but you can do all that at Dreamland on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
It's actually cheaper to get to Bali anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. And you have all these experiences on the way with markets and stalls and all the rest of it.
And I honestly think that you can't underestimate the value of a cultural exchange as well.
No,
and get the kids over there while they're young, and they understand that there's different people doing different things around the world.
But basically, we're all people.
What about the food, Annie? Family meals, because I know that obviously...
Good question.
Yeah. You'll find that most restaurants, except the very top end 5-star type restaurant, will accept children very happily. As I said, the Balinese welcome children. They're part of their community. So they all have high chairs, beautifully carved teak high chairs, etc. And I mean, there are the usual fast food places, but you'll find that most restaurants, cafes, eating venues will have a children's menu. If not, they'll have something that your child will eat, unless your child's particularly picky and fussy.
All kids like nasi goreng, bit of fried rice.
And the fried egg on top.
Yeah, and mikwa, noodle soup.
Yes,
But, so look, and again, when I first went to Bali, I had my 2 younger brothers, one's 5 years, one's 7 years younger. And we got up to all sorts of amazing adventures, and like the banana boat, you get towed along behind the big boat and get thrown off and break all your bones. Absolutely fantastic.
It's a paradise for family holidays.
Oh, well, when I say, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the Balinese boys were certainly keen on letting us have a bit of adrenaline if we wanted it. Just going, plan. No, faster.
Obviously not breaking your bones is a precaution.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you are going to a different set of rules, so what are the precautions that people should look at when they're taking their children to Bali?
Well, you need to be very aware that it's a much hotter climate than you'll ever experience here, so you need to be aware of things like dehydration. Carry water with you, and bottled water's readily available. Buy the big bottles and tote them around with you everywhere you go, and keep swigging on the water, and make sure that the children get more than adequate supplies of water. Dehydration happens very quickly in that sort of climate. You need to be aware of skin protection, sun protection. Take the cream with the highest SPF in it that you can find.
And you can actually get sunburn creams now. We've got mozzie repellent and insect repellent too, which is probably a good idea for the kiddies.
Really?
And you do need to be aware of mosquitoes, particularly in the evening. There's a risk of dengue fever, as always in the tropics. Make sure it's not just your ordinary average one that you buy at the supermarket. Actually go to the chemist and get one of the high strength ones, particularly if you're going up in the mountains.
One thing I found as well, good idea, again because of the tropical climate, to get a waterproof one.
Oh, exactly.
So you tend to perspire a little bit. Oh no, it sounds silly, but I've got my little standard kit. That,
well, that's very sensible.
Bit of betadine, little bit of a splinter remover thing, that sort of thing.
A few gastrogel type
so we
sachets.
We obviously covered the fact that the Balinese love looking after kids, so it's very easy to get a hold of a babysitter if you want to go out for a romantic night out for the parents. It's, most hotels provide that. And we know it's cheap to get there. But just in closing, is there a couple of interesting words in Bahasa Indonesia that we can learn to explain about the kids? Or?
They'll always ask you about your children. They want to know how old your child is, so you need to know words like months, ulan. You need to be able to tell them whether this is a laki-laki, this is your son, it's a boy, or a perempuan, which is a girl, because they will want to know those things. But eyes and hands break down all language barriers, and you will find that they will more than readily understand anything you say, particularly when it's concerned with your children.
Yes.
Annie Payne, I think you've rescued all those dads who want to get away for a surfing trip. It is okay to go to Bali, it's kid friendly.
Yes, it is, it really is, and your children will thrive on the differences.